Buckle up, everyone, because today we're diving into one of the wildest stories in sports history.
Oh, yeah.
Leicester City's totally unexpected Premier League title in 2015-2016. We're talking about a team that was basically expected to be fighting to stay in the league.
Yeah, relegation candidates, for sure.
Not, lifting the trophy at the end. And to spice things up even more, we're going to be looking at all this through the lens of the Spanish Wikipedia page.
Oh, wow.
So, a little bit of a different cultural perspective adds to the fun of our deep dive today.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the story's told a little differently, but don't worry, I've got you covered when it comes to the football details and all the important facts.
Okay, perfect. So, picture this. You're a Leicester City fan at the start of the season, right? Your team barely escaped being kicked out of the Premier League the year before.
Relegation, yeah.
Odds makers are giving you like a 5,000 to 1 chance of winning the whole thing.
Absolutely crazy odds.
So, you're probably thinking this is going to be another tough year.
Yeah, you're just hoping to survive.
What on earth made this season so remarkable? Let's break it all down.
Yeah, let's get into it. So first, we got to look at the team itself. Let's dive into the plantilla.
Plantilla.
That's squad in Spanish. Let's see who actually made this miracle happen. So you've got Kasper Schmeichel in goal.
Oh yeah, big shoes to fill, right?
Yeah, trying to live up to his father, Peter.
Goalkeeping legend.
Exactly.
That's a lot of pressure.
I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah.
But Schmeichel wasn't the only one who had something to prove. You've got Wes Morgan, the captain, known for being solid defensively, but could he actually lead a team to a championship?
Yeah, was he a leader?
That's the thing, right? On paper, this wasn't a team of superstars, but they had something else, this grit, this determination. Take Jamie Vardy, for example. This guy had spent years in the lower leagues, just grinding, fighting his way to the top, and then suddenly he explodes.
Yeah.
Goal-scoring machine.
Talk about a story that resonates with fans, right? It's like something out of Hollywood. From non-league football to breaking records in the Premier League. Vardy's journey, it's a testament to what perseverance can do. But he wasn't the only one who captured the world's attention that season.
Oh, absolutely not. We got to talk about Riyad Mahrez.
Okay.
He was another revelation, pretty much unknown before that season. And then suddenly, this winger is like a wizard on the ball, creating chances, scoring these amazing goals.
Yeah, his partnership with Vardy was electric.
It was unbelievable.
So, you had this dynamic duo. But how did everyone else fit into this puzzle? How did this seemingly average team become champions?
Yeah, that's the real question. Well, you can't talk about Leicester City without talking about N'Golo Kanté.
Okay.
This midfielder was everywhere, winning tackles, intercepting passes, launching attacks.
Yeah, it's like he was running a marathon every game.
Seriously, covered every blade of grass, never stopped.
It's almost like he had a twin out there, right?
I know, it's incredible.
And of course, we have to talk about the mastermind behind it all, Claudio Ranieri. He wasn't exactly the hottest name in management at the time.
No, not really. Some people thought his best days were behind him.
And that's what makes it even more incredible.
I know, right? You've got this veteran manager known for being flexible with tactics and his ability to really get the best out of his players.
But could he turn this group of underdogs into champions?
That's what everyone was wondering.
I mean, the odds were definitely stacked against him. But maybe, just maybe, that lack of expectation actually helped.
How so?
Well, it let Ranieri and his players play with a freedom that the bigger clubs didn't have.
That's a great point. I mean, think about it. All those top clubs under immense pressure to win, Leicester, they're just flying under the radar, embracing the underdog role.
Just playing their game.
Exactly.
So we've got our underdog team assembled, led by a manager who might have been a bit underestimated. But how do they actually transform into champions? What was the turning point?
Well, the season started with some struggles, as you might expect, but then something unbelievable happened. Jamie Vardy goes on this scoring streak for the ages. He scored in 11 straight Premier League matches.
Wait, 11 matches?
11.
That's insane.
It shattered the Premier League record.
Wow.
It was like witnessing history.
Can you imagine watching Vardy week after week, knowing he was on the verge of achieving something truly remarkable?
Oh, it was electric. And it wasn't just about individual brilliance. As Vardy's confidence grew, so did the belief of the entire team. They developed this never say die attitude.
This resilience.
Yeah, it became their trademark.
Okay, so we've got our underdog heroes, veteran manager, a spark of brilliance that ignites the whole season. But I want to get into some specific matches now, the partidos, to really capture the drama.
Okay.
And I think we should actually start with a loss. Their 5-2 defeat against Arsenal.
Interesting. Why start there?
Well, because it shows that even in a championship season, there are going to be setbacks.
Right. You can't win them all. But what's important is how you respond to those setbacks. And Leicester, they didn't crumble. They learned from it.
Yeah, they showed that even in defeat, they were a force to be reckoned with. Then, just a few weeks later, they take on the defending champions, Chelsea.
Oh, wow.
And they win 2-1.
What a statement.
Talk about a victory that sends shockwaves through the league.
Oh, absolutely. It showed that Leicester wasn't just lucky. They were for real.
Okay, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about this. But they weren't done yet. Their 3-1 win against Manchester City
Another powerhouse.
really solidified their status as contenders.
Oh, yeah, that win on the road against a team with basically unlimited resources, that was a tactical masterpiece.
It proved that Ranieri could outsmart the best managers.
Even with a fraction of the budget.
Incredible. So we've seen the early struggles, the record-breaking streak, those key victories that sent a message to the entire league. But there's one more piece of the puzzle I want to explore. Leicester's less successful campaigns in the FA Cup and Copa della Liga.
Okay.
What do you make of that?
Well, I think it highlights something crucial about their run to the title. Focus.
Focus.
Yeah, they knew their best chance for glory was in the Premier League, so they prioritized it. They weren't trying to win every single competition. They were laser-focused on that one goal.
I see. That speaks volumes about their strategic mindset and Ranieri's leadership. Okay, but now let's get into the cold, hard numbers. The apariciones y goles,
Ah, the stats.
which basically means appearances and goals. What jumps out at you?
Well, first and foremost, you've got to acknowledge Jamie Vardy's phenomenal season. 24 goals, leading the entire Premier League. Remember, this is a player who was playing non-league football just a few years earlier. It's amazing.
His emergence really challenges those old ideas about player development. It proves that talent can blossom at any age.
Totally.
It's not just about how many goals he scored either. It's about the quality. He was scoring against some of the best defenses in the world, proving he belonged at the very top. But let's not forget about Mahrez either.
Oh, absolutely not. He had an incredible season as well. 17 goals and 11 assists.
Wow.
Talk about versatility and impact.
Together they were unstoppable.
Yeah, they terrorized defenses.
But there's one stat I find particularly interesting. The relatively low number of yellow and red cards for Leicester.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think that tells us?
Well, it reveals a lot about their style of play. They weren't a dirty team. They were disciplined.
Tactical.
Yeah, they relied on teamwork, positioning, and intelligence, not brute force or aggression.
Okay, so we've seen the players, the story, the matches, and the stats. But what was the secret sauce? What truly made this impossible dream a reality?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll try to answer right after this.
We'll be right back with more of our deep dive into Leicester City's incredible season. Don't go anywhere.
So before we went to that break, we were kind of, talking about all the pieces of Leicester's incredible run. Like we had this band of unlikely heroes, savvy manager.
Right, a record-breaking scoring streak.
Exactly. Some huge victories against the top teams. But the question still kind of lingers. I'm like, what was the secret sauce? How did they actually pull it off?
Yeah, we've laid out all the pieces, but now we got to figure out how they all fit together, right? Was it just talent, tactics, or was there something more?
It was definitely a bunch of things all coming together at once. I mean, Ranieri's tactical flexibility was a huge part of it. He wasn't stuck in one system,
Right.
He adapted based on who they were playing against. For example, against a team that liked to keep the ball a lot, he'd use a counterattacking style, using Vardy's speed and Mahrez's creativity to, really punish them.
So he was kind of like a chameleon, blending in and then striking when you least expect it.
Exactly.
That must have been so frustrating for the other managers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was constantly outsmarting these, more experienced, more famous managers.
Wow.
But, tactics alone don't win championships. There was something special about this team, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. And speaking of special, I think we have to talk about the King Power Stadium. The Wikipedia article mentions how the atmosphere there was electric that season.
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was a huge factor. Imagine you're a Leicester City player running out onto that pitch, packed stadium, the crowd is roaring, the energy is just unreal. It must have given them this massive boost week after week.
Yeah, I can almost feel it now, the unity, the whole city behind their team.
Absolutely.
But let's not forget, they weren't just playing against other teams. They were battling the giants of English football clubs with so much more money.
And that's what makes their achievement even more remarkable. I mean, think about the difference in finances in the Premier League.
Yeah?
You've got teams like Manchester City, Chelsea, Manchester United. They can spend hundreds of millions on players. Leicester was operating on a tiny fraction of that budget.
So how did they even compete, let alone win?
Well, it wasn't just about Ranieri tactics. It was also about the players themselves. They weren't superstars, but they were hungry. They were dedicated, and they believed in each other.
They were playing for something bigger than themselves. For the club, for the city, for their fans.
Yes.
That kind of collective purpose can be really powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like they had this underdog spirit that the bigger clubs had lost.
That's a really interesting point. Those big clubs with all their money and trophies, maybe they started to take winning for granted. But Leicester, they appreciated every victory, every point they earned.
Yeah, they were playing with the fire in their bellies.
Exactly.
And let's not forget the element of surprise. Early in the season, nobody took them seriously.
They were under the radar.
Picking up points, building momentum.
By the time the big clubs realized what was happening, it was too late.
It's like that saying, catch them sleeping.
Exactly.
The big clubs underestimated Leicester.
And they paid the price.
Leicester's success caught everyone off guard.
It created this incredible wave of momentum.
Yeah, they rode it all the way to the title.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing how being overlooked can actually work in your favor, at least at first.
I know, right?
They had the freedom to experiment, to grow.
To develop their style.
Without all that pressure.
Yeah, without the scrutiny that comes with being the favorite.
So they were kind of free to just be themselves.
Precisely. They weren't playing with that weight of expectation, the burden of history.
Right.
It allowed them to play with a joy and a freedom that was infectious.
And as they started winning,
the belief just kept growing. The impossible started to seem possible.
It's like they tapped into this energy, this belief that defied all logic.
It really did.
They weren't just winning, they were winning with style, with passion.
With a sense of destiny.
But as much as we celebrate this story, we have to acknowledge the role of luck. Right?
Of course, luck is always a factor in football, as in life, Injuries to other players, referee decisions, lucky bounces. These things can make a difference.
Sure.
But in Leicester's case, I think it was more about seizing opportunities.
Not just relying on blind luck.
Exactly.
So they created their own luck.
Through hard work, preparation, their unity, their tactical discipline.
They were ready to grab their chance when it arrived.
That's a great lesson for anyone facing a big challenge. Be prepared, work hard, and be ready when your moment comes.
Absolutely. Their success was a mix of skill, strategy, teamwork, and yeah, a little bit of luck, but they were also incredibly resilient.
Oh, yeah.
Able to bounce back from setbacks.
Remember that 5-2 loss to Arsenal?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't let that derail them.
They used it as fuel. A reminder to keep pushing.
They were always learning, adapting.
Evolving as a team.
And that's what separates champions from contenders. They have the mental toughness to handle pressure, learn from mistakes.
And come back stronger.
Exactly.
Their story is truly an inspiration.
Absolutely.
It's a testament to the power of belief, teamwork, and determination.
It's a reminder that even in a world obsessed with money, power, and fame, the human spirit can still win.
We've explored the tactics, the team spirit, the role of the stadium, the surprise factor, the luck. We've seen how Leicester City defied all odds and climbed to the top. But football, like life, is always changing. So this begs the question, could a fairy tale season like that ever happen again?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's one we'll tackle head-on right after we take a quick break.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the final part of our deep dive into Leicester City's legacy. All right, welcome back to our deep dive into Leicester City's unbelievable 2015-2016 season. We've talked about the players, the tactics, the moments that made it all so special, and the magic that brought them to the top. But as we wrap up our analysis, there's one big question still hanging out there.
Could a team like Leicester, a real underdog, actually pull off a miracle like that in today's football?
Right. I mean, we were just talking about how the financial gap between the big clubs and everyone else has gotten even bigger since Leicester's win. It seems like the big spenders have an even tighter grip on the Premier League trophy.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So is there any hope left for the underdogs? Or has that fairy tale ending become a thing of the past?
Well, it's a question that has everyone debating, fans and analysts alike. On the one hand, all that money pouring into the top clubs has made it incredibly hard for smaller teams to even compete.
Right, they can just buy the best players.
Exactly. The top clubs can attract world-class talent with massive salaries. They're competing in a global market for the best of the best.
So it's almost like an arms race, right? The clubs with the deepest pockets have this massive advantage.
Absolutely. It's become way harder for a team like Leicester to even put together a squad that can challenge the big boys. And this is where it gets interesting. Football isn't just about money.
Right.
There's this beautiful element of unpredictability. You never know what's going to happen.
Okay, so you're saying there's still a glimmer of hope. Don't crush my dreams here.
Oh, no way. While the money might favor the Giants, there's always room for a surprise.
Okay.
Remember, football is a game of strategy, teamwork, individual brilliance. And yeah, a bit of luck too, and those things can come together in the most unexpected ways.
So you're telling me there's a chance. It's not totally impossible. What would it take for another underdog story to unfold in today's Premier League?
Okay, let's try to cook up a recipe for another Leicester-style miracle. First, you need a manager who's like a tactical genius. Someone who can squeeze every ounce of potential out of a squad that nobody really expects much from.
Right, they have to be able to outsmart those big money managers.
Exactly. Exploit their weaknesses, find creative ways to disrupt the established order.
Almost like a diamond-in-the-rough scout combined with a master strategist.
Exactly. And then you need a group of players who aren't just talented, but also hungry, united, and resilient.
Like they have something to prove.
Yes. Players who will fight for each other, buy into a vision, and defy those odds with everything they've got.
It reminds me of what we saw with Leicester, that incredible team spirit, that unshakable belief in themselves and their manager.
Absolutely. They weren't playing for individual glory. They were playing for each other, for the badge, for the city. That unity was so powerful, and you could see it on the pitch.
Okay, so we've got our mastermind manager and our band of brothers. What else needs to fall into place for this to work?
Well, a little bit of luck never hurts, does it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
A kind schedule, maybe some injuries to key players on other teams, a few lucky bounces of the ball. Those things can really shift the momentum.
But it's not just about hoping for the best.
Oh, no.
It's about creating an environment where you can actually grab those opportunities when they pop up.
Absolutely. You got to be both lucky and good. You have to take those lucky breaks, turn them into goals, and ride that wave. Embrace that underdog role, use it as fuel, and never back down.
So even in a world dominated by money and tactics, there's still room for the unexpected, the stories that rewrite the script.
Exactly. That's what makes football so amazing. It's a sport where dreams can come true, where underdogs can rise to the top, where anything is possible.
Leicester City's 2015-2016 season wasn't just a victory. It was a testament to the power of belief, teamwork, the human spirit. And even though the money in football has changed things, those core principles that took Leicester to the top, those are timeless.
Their story